So what was the point? I used to ask myself that. When you're hopeless, sometimes you forget that things had ever been any different, and you forget that things will ever change in the future, and so you're just so stuck in that moment. And when everything keeps going wrong or falling apart, it's easy to get discouraged. And I remember the effect it had on my ex-wife, because she used to act like she was a single mom, and she used to joke around that I was like one of the kids. And I don't know how bad she meant it, but I remember being so embarrassed because she would say that in front of my kids and say that in front of other people, and just kept doing what I was doing until one day I was so miserable. I remember thinking that there had to be a way to get out, and I didn't care what that way was. And one day I just went in and threw my keys on the desk at work, and I told them I was done. I called my ex-wife. I told her I was leaving. As I tried to go out with a bang, I was homeless, so I spent all my time either on the streets or in bars or strip clubs or crack houses. And then one night I was just being stupid, and I was messing around in a river, and I was drunk and high, and I lost control and started floating downstream. And it really wasn't even that strong a current, but I was in the center of the river where I couldn't touch, and I went under, and I just kind of gave up fighting, like that fight that I'd been doing for however long. I just was like, I just let it go, and I got to the point where I was about to inhale the water, and all the scenes from every movie I've ever seen where there's that last air bubble, and then the body just kind of sinks to the bottom. And in my mind I was like, oh, that's what's about to happen right now. Like I'm actually gonna see what that feels like. Like this isn't, it's not a movie anymore. This is really gonna happen. And I did. I opened my mouth, and as I'm expecting the water to rush in, something lifted me. I don't know how to explain it, but I came up out of the water, and I took a big mouthful of fresh air. And when I kind of came down from that, I was in a part of the river I could touch, and it scared me because I knew that wasn't me, and I knew that my life wasn't my own. I think we go through life thinking that we hold ourselves up, and I knew that I wasn't holding myself up anymore. And I started going back to church again, and it was weird, and I've heard other people describe it, but it was one of those things where like every sermon was specifically for me. I used to be looking around thinking how does he know? And every time I'd read the Bible, like it just made more sense. Like I had tried to read the Bible before, but now it was different. My life just started changing around me, and God felt so close. Every day after work I'd go sit in the empty church, just because I knew as long as I was sitting there I wasn't anywhere else. And every night I used to even when I couldn't read the Bible, I would just use it as a pillow or just hold it open and just stare at the pages, because I knew as long as the Bible was in my hands, then I wasn't doing something else. And I started talking to my kids again. I went and saw them for the first time. It had been almost 2 or 3 years, and things just started falling into place.